Well, at least 6 people are dead following attacks in Burkina Faso. The attacks have been attributed to jihadists and took place in the northern part of the country. Several hundred people took to the streets over the weekend to protest the wave of attacks sweeping the country. And joining us now is our Wasim Nasser. Wasim, what can you tell us about these attacks?
Well, actually, the situation is very, very critical, even as we speak. And if you go back just a few days back, we can see on a map where the latest attack occurred, knowing that those attacks were made or conducted by the Islamic State or by al-Qaeda affiliate. So we see the attack on the 12th in Yakuta, meaning a few days back. It was a water pumping station. On the 11th, the Buzanga gold mine was attacked. On the 11th, civilians were attacked in Seitanga, leading to massive numbers of civilians leaving the town Fordori, knowing that the same town, the police station was attacked in the same town, and 11 policemen were killed. Another gold mining station was attacked on the 9th, and on the 6th in the town of Bougie, a very complex attack was conducted against the army, which was trying to secure logistical convoy from a gold mine in Bonugu. And we see that it's spreading all over the north and the northeastern part of Burkina Faso. Knowing, for example, if you go back to the Saitanga attack, which was an Islamic State conducted attack, we know that there is no civilian militias acting there to counter jihadis. But from local sources, I got to know that the local population was on very good terms with the authorities. So we suspect that this was an attack to avenge this regarding this relation, and to push the population to leave, which happened on the 12th. We don't know yet how many civilians were killed accurately, because communication is very difficult, but we know that numbers left to other towns next to this area. And what's particular about Burkina Faso and jihadi factions acting there is they are not disciplined at all. So we don't know even if they answer to their mother organizations in Mali or across the border in Niger. Remember, for example, there was a massacre in Solan a few months ago that al-Qaeda denied, but we know for fact that was a faction of al-Qaeda who conducted it, and I was told it was a non-disciplined faction. And this goes to the point that even local power brokers or even states that are trying to negotiate with jihadis don't know who to negotiate with actually, because the negotiations are being conducted on a very micro level of commanders.
Well, we know that France has been involved in an ongoing fight against jihadism in the region. What is France's involvement at the moment?
Well, actually, France doesn't have a declared presence in Burkina Faso, knowing that Ouagadougou is being used by U.S. Special Forces, by French Special Forces, and that from time to time, Burkinabe authorities and military ask France for help. The latest occurrence was on the 22nd of May, where 200 jihadis of the Islamic State were attacking the Buzanga area, and the Burkinabe asked France for help. And this is when French planes made a flight above the 200 jihadis, which make them flee. But we know too, for example, that at the beginning of the year, an IED, an improvised explosive device, hit French special forces in a small airport in northern Burkina Faso, and 4 were injured and 1 very, very badly injured, meaning that French special forces use, in coordination with Burkina Faso, some facilities in order to conduct their operation across the border in Mali or in other places under the banner, of course, of Barkhane.
What about the ruling military junta? Where does it stand in all of this?
Well, it stands a very political and particular political position, because when they made their coup, they said that they were making the coup in order to counter the jihadis, knowing that, as we said, they also negotiate with jihadi factions. Just for example, they negotiated a truce in the area of Djibo. And what I'm going to tell you is very telling, actually, because they conducted a truce with local jihadi commanders in Djibo, but who made the truce fail was the civilian militias, anti-jihadi civilian militias, that didn't accept it, which tells us that the grip of the state on Burkinabe soil is getting weaker and weaker, in profit or profiting for the jihadis, but also to local militias who are supposed to counter those jihadis. And here we enter into the ethnical breakdown of each country, where jihadis are mostly from one ethnic group and those who counter them from another. So the situation is very critical, and some observers in Burkina Faso are fearing another coup, since the promise of security that was delivered by the military who made the latest coup isn't fulfilled yet, and the situation is getting even worse and worse compared to when they took power a few months ago.
Yeah, a very serious situation there. Okay, Wasim Nasser, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks.